Okay. Well, we're back, and pretty quickly, I might add. Classes for notes I've got over here for important tidbits I think might be helpful given what I'm about to discuss. I, on at least two occasions that I know of, have been a victim of revenge porn. Both took place in Florida, in or around Orlando. When I was very new to the town, knew nothing about the place essentially, didn't know about some of the seedier sides of things. And this was a while ago. This was about, I'm going to say 11 years ago. This was pre-Tinder. This was pre-hookups are cool. Go ahead and find somebody on an app, swipe right, that kind of thing. Yeah. So in any case, before that, there was, prior to the Craigslist killer, Craigslist. There were the personal ads. And at that time, I was just about to, or just turned 30, and going through a decadal depression of some kind. Had liked someone, and it had gone south. Nothing had actually come of it at all. And it just became incredibly apparent to me that I lacked the ability to form bonds that were possibly intimate. And so I decided to try and experiment with how to do this. And one of the ways that I did this was to get on Craigslist. And I met a couple of guys. One was a gentleman. Went out to dinner, hung out. Nothing happened. I met up with two guys in particular, though, where things did happen. And in retrospect, there were absolute flashing neon signs that what I was doing was not going to turn out well. And I have been told since then that the videos exist and that there are people that have seen them. I have not seen them. One actually being told that one of the two was made a lot more sense, given something the guy said during the actual act itself, actually on both occasions. And it turns out, I don't know if this is the case in a lot of places, but at the time in Orlando, Florida, these men were essentially using Craigslist to hook up with women, and if the women hooked up with them, somehow the women automatically became downgraded, less than human. The phrase was used to me, once a whore, nothing more. In any case, they were passing these videos around, which is essentially how I have found out that these videos have existed. At least the two that have occurred with me. So the first one was a gentleman I rejected flat out upon meeting him. We had talked about just meeting up. We did meet up. We did have a physical encounter. Before it began, he had walked over to his computer, hit a button. I hadn't thought much of it. Having nearly at this point, honestly, absolutely no experience, which is kind of why I was doing this. And we messed around a bit. I went to the bathroom, I came back, and he was standing there with a big grin on his face. He sat down next to me, was quite intimidating during the whole thing, frankly, and at the end turned to me and said, "And that was just a preview." Now, the placement of the situation was, we were on a sofa. Across from the sofa directly was a computer, and of course on the computer was a webcam. which at the time I thought nothing of. Long story short, apparently this guy had recorded and sent out or live streamed what had happened. A second incident, I decided that guy had clearly gotten nasty with me because I had rejected more than just a physical encounter. So he acted weird. I decided, well, maybe my mistake is that he was too young, and maybe I need to look at maybe an older gentleman, someone with maybe some old school manners, some kind of chivalry, some kind of, I mean, just grasping at straws here, because like I said, I had absolutely no experience. I'm just rolling with it here. I meet this older guy, and actually we talk, and the plan is to spend the weekend together, and, you know, we're gonna go out, we're gonna eat, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna do all this great stuff. And 2 minutes into us being in this hotel room, you know, we're messing around, and he makes some comment about taking me shopping tomorrow. And I thought, well, that's really odd, or this is at least an odd time to mention such a thing. But whatever, okay. I didn't understand what was going on, and lo and behold, in this hotel room across from this bed was a laptop. And it was open, and it looked turned off. It was not turned off. And apparently, come to find out later, this was not an uncommon thing to happen in this area. So I'm writing this, well, I've written bits of this, which I'm using as notes over here on the side. I'm recording this and saying this and sharing this as a warning. This is a real thing. And forget the sexism fact of, you know, there were men in these videos. Clearly, I mean, this wasn't me by myself. But because I'm a woman, I'm vulnerable to having my reputation, my honor, my chastity, whatever, destroyed. In fact, pretty much ended a teaching career. Any possibility of really going back into teaching at a level anywhere under university, which I had done. I had actually taught in the state of Florida, so this was a real issue that this was out there floating around somewhere. In any case, so yeah, this became an issue. Apparently, the "I'll take you shopping tomorrow" comment was meant to be some kind of exchange, as in that would be your payment for what's going on right now. Which, I don't know what kind of a silly-headed girl would take someone's word on a thing like that. Just that later I'll take you shopping in exchange for whatever we're doing. I don't know, but I find this all horribly embarrassing to even have to discuss. I shouldn't have to discuss it, because frankly the fact that men were involved in these videos to begin with clearly means there's an obvious double standard. You know, as I said, it's not just me. You know, it was a young, single, really attractive guy who was an ex-pro professional sports athletic figure, and then a guy who was estranged from his wife and had given me a whole sob story and wanted to play Mr. Chivalry for the weekend, and we were supposed to spend the weekend together, and his personality flipped on a dime. Flipped on a dime to the point that I was actually kind of scared, to tell you the truth. And as I said, I was new to the town, and it occurred to me at a certain point that I really didn't even know where I was. and didn't really know anybody in the town, and had no business being in the situation I was in either case. But again, when you already have some depressive tendencies and you're thinking, well, I've been waiting around for Mr. Right for 30 years and he hasn't shown up, maybe I'm going about it the wrong way. Your mother's gone, deceased, you don't have anybody to talk to about this kind of thing. We didn't talk about this kind of thing in my family. Like I said, I went to Catholic school. I had no frame of reference for any of it. I actually thought I was doing the smart thing. I thought of getting on the internet to meet a guy as being kind of a pre-interview for their interview, as opposed to just whatever random dude walks up to you at a bar. Ted Bundy existed in the days before the internet, as did Jeffrey Dahmer. So I saw what I was doing as being a safe way of pre-screening. Little did I know they were using the internet as a tool to pass around whatever kind of guy's sex circle this was that existed in the underbelly of Craigslist. And this was Craigslist Orlando specifically that this happened on. So I just want to warn women, just know that you are vulnerable, period. That's how it is. I don't know how these guys can get away with doing something that horribly just vile, and betrayal of that nature can be allowed, but because there are men involved in it somehow, it's acceptable. It's like two people committing murder, but only one gets prosecuted because the other one happened to be the opposite gender. I don't understand how in the year, even where I was, I totally, in 2007, 2008, was thinking that this is a new millennium. Apparently not. So, just a quick, not so quick warning video. I'm hoping I can post this. Given everything that's going on right now with Harvey Weinstein, whatever its name is, which doesn't surprise me because I've also dallied in Hollywood and can assure you that offers were made there, which I flatly rejected. I don't know that I necessarily would have gotten anything in exchange for it, but certainly there were people who were very powerful and very connected, and let's just say that it's all true. And sexual harassment on a movie set is like ice cream in an ice cream parlor. It's just nothing. It's part of the wallpaper. So I feel really sorry for a lot of those women, because I was a theater minor and I loved actual acting and I loved theater. And I'm not, like I said, a video or film person, which, given the length of this video, is probably kind of hard to believe, but I don't have the film thing going on. So it was pretty easy for me to say no. I can only imagine, though, for someone like Angelina Jolie or Gwyneth Paltrow, how hard it must have been to want something that much. And mind you, yes, they both do have connections into Hollywood, which is essentially how you get into Hollywood, because other than that, to be just a rare, undiscovered gem is pretty rarely the case. But yeah, it's got to be hard, and I just wish that we had more solidarity amongst women, and that more women would just come out and warn and just scream at the top of their lungs when this stuff happens to them. Immediately, look, this is what this person is trying to do. This is what this person is out for. We know about Bill Cosby. We know about Harvey Weinstein. The casting couch is an open running joke in Hollywood. I personally know of tales of massive movie stars, you know, doing humiliating things to women. So all I want to say is that industry has never held any appeal for me since I lived in LA, since I lived in Miami, in South Beach, and saw what goes on at filming, what can be done to you, that very little intervention will be offered even by the people at the absolute top in charge, because all they care about is stuff running smoothly. I mean, there are hundreds of millions of dollars involved in making these movies. They don't care at the end of the day, you know, if somebody's feelings get hurt, if somebody gets felt up, if, you know, someone gets violated. The most important thing is that as much positive press around whatever this release is going to be happens. You know, I mean, all of that, if you were to even complain, the only thing that would probably happen is they just try and get rid of you. And it doesn't surprise me that some women have talked about goons showing up at their door and threatening basically their physical well-being if they open their mouths. So, I'm going to upload this as well, and I'm trying to just make notes over here and think about everything I want to talk about, because like I said, I don't like making videos, I don't like doing this kind of thing, so I'm going to, you know, upload this, but I want everyone to understand that it's 2017, and women don't have equal sexual standing with men. The things that can be done to you for exercising the same equal sexual rights you're supposed to have as a male are absolutely astonishing. And I've had at least my teaching career ruined by it, you know. The threat of something like that popping up in a situation where you teach second grade is unheard of. I mean, there was a teacher in the state of Florida who posted pictures of herself in a bikini on Facebook and lost her job. So yeah. Anyway, ladies, just beware. I don't know how you even guard against a thing like that, because you can hide a camera anywhere. Honestly, I don't know what to say other than be sure you can trust the person you're with. And I remind you that John Wayne Gacy was married to his wife for 25 years while he was burying bodies under the house. Good luck.